I remember most about the fall of 2002 is the pressure. The drumbeat to authorize the invasion was very strong. And we were basically being told that there are weapons of mass destruction. There's a risk that they would turn over those weapons to Al-Qaeda. And that's what I remember, the pressure, the intensity of the pressure. There were parts of that argument that I didn't believe. I could not imagine how 150,000 American troops could control 25 million people in a country the size of California in the middle of the Arab Islamic world. It made no sense to me. And I voted against that war because the consequences for the country were so serious. You know, Washington is a tough place. There's always pressure. Someone's always trying to persuade you or push you or make you do something. When you're in elective office, what's really important is being true to yourself and true to the people you represent. And as long as you're not afraid, you can do that. You know, I think I learned some of that, you know, in my life, in high school and in college, and just from my father. After Pearl Harbor, my father volunteered for the Navy. He served in the South Pacific, and he was part of a CB unit. He worked control towers for these air bases. They were bombed every night. They'd go run and jump in their foxhole and stay there until the air raid was over. But I think what affected him most was the loss of the pilots. He was in the control tower. He would get to know the pilots. They would go off on a mission, and some of them would never return. And after the war, my father came back. He practiced law here. He was always engaged in the community. He served on the Portland City Council. He always felt that we had a responsibility to contribute to the community. And my mother had much the same attitude. So my parents were models for my life, really. I was born in 1945. I am a baby boomer. I had a happy childhood. My father and mother bought this place in 1951. My father always had chores for me here. I grew up in the outdoors in Maine, and that has, I think, shaped my life in ways that I can't calculate. In the spring, it would be baseball. In the fall, it was football. My friends in elementary school and high school are still my friends. When I was 12, we won the state championship for Little League. We won the New England championship. In high school, I loved track. I won the state championship in the 440 3 years in a row. In the relay, we set a record, and that record, 2098, still stands today. I love playing football. Football is really a team sport. If you don't do your assignment, you can let down the whole team. We had a coach, Gordon Pendleton, at Deering High School, one of the best coaches I ever had. He had a phrase, ham and egger. We were not to be a ham and egger, and that was a show-off. That was someone who was promoting himself too much instead of supporting the team. I went to Bowdoin. I ran track, I played football, I was co-captain of those teams, and I had a great experience. Everyone at Bowdoin belonged to a fraternity. My junior year, I became president of the chapter. We had tried for several years to get the national fraternity to admit African Americans, but they had always refused. They said, no, we're going to become a local fraternity, and we pulled out because we don't like being part of a national organization that discriminates on the basis of race. It is always important to stand up against discrimination. At every level, wherever you find yourself, you can make a difference. While I was mayor of Portland, a proposal was made that would protect people from being discriminated against because of sexual orientation. I thought it was important, very important, that the boundaries of discrimination be pushed back. I met Diana in the 7th grade. We've been together ever since. We got engaged before I went over to England. I couldn't be married and accept the Rhodes Scholarship. I came back and we got married. We both grew up in Maine. Being rooted in this place has been very important to the relationship.
I think Tom is motivated to do the right thing and always has been. Being a parent has definitely been a source of great joy.
That's the great challenge and the great responsibility that all parents share and that all parents have in common. It's hard work.
It is. And we thought we can be good parents of daughters and help them to grow up knowing they can be anything they want to be. But it's also been a source of great pleasure to watch them become the women that they are today, and we love the husbands that they've chosen, and we're looking forward to being grandparents in the spring.
Yes, yes.
It's very exciting. But Tom was a good dad. When I think about his work in Congress, I think about his taking on the pharmaceuticals when he was a freshman, because it was the right thing to do. I was very proud of that. His vote against the war, I've been very proud of. And I know his parents would have been very proud of that too.
We need a change in direction in Washington, D.C. It's really that simple. That's why I'm running for the Senate. Everybody has to have access to health care. That's what we should be doing in this country, but we're failing miserably. You got 47 million people in America who don't have health insurance today. There ought to be a plan supported by the federal government, but one that is affordable for the small business community. We can do that. We can do that. I support a whole host of tax cuts that I think improve the lives of middle-class Americans. The Bush tax cuts of 01 and 03 were primarily tax cuts weighted to the richest people in the country. And no, bottom line, that's just not fair. I think helping the middle class builds a stronger economy than helping the rich. My father never told me a lot about what happened during the war, but he did tell me some things, particularly late in life. I know when he came back, he had what we today would call post-traumatic stress. He was having nightmares. He was acting out. I've been to too many funerals, and I've seen too many veterans coming back with loss of limbs or other conditions that need treatment, not to know that that has to be our highest priority, taking care of them.
Tom is what he seems. He's the same with me as he is with everybody throughout his life. He's a good listener. He's had to listen to me for many years. He's compassionate, and I don't know if everybody knows those things about Tom, but...
And she's completely unbiased. There's gridlock in the U.S. Senate today because there's a very narrow margin. And Maine is one of those 5 or 6 states which will make a difference. And if we have 55 or 56 senators who want to bring our troops safely home from Iraq, who want to cover everyone with health care, who believe that energy and climate change go together, that's what we need. That's why I'm running for the Senate. I want people in Maine to know that I will always do everything I can for them. I'm not afraid to stand up to pressure, and I'm going to fight for them every single day.